The horror series you might have seen covering YouTube in a sickly shade of yellow is The Backrooms. There are reactions online by big YouTubers to short horror films about getting lost in an endless, monochromatic office space, and eventually chased by a strange, oily, mechanical-looking creature. There are explanations of theories and lore contained in these videos, as well as the original story that popped up on the internet a few years ago. In case you haven't seen it, The Backrooms is a series of horror videos uploaded onto the channel Kane Pixels by its creator, Kane Parsons. The videos are inspired by the Backrooms creepypasta, or internet legend if you don't know what that means, that originated as a forum post on the internet in 2019. The first video was uploaded in January 2022, and many other videos have been uploaded since then, all of which gained millions of views in a short amount of time. The main one has already amassed 25 million views as of late April 2022. Parsons meshes a simulated VHS style with 3D digital renderings to create these evocative short films that have captured the attention of millions. The introductory video, simply titled The Backrooms Found Footage, has us follow an unfortunate man from the viewpoint of his video camera. The found footage shows him seemingly glitch out of his current reality and into an eerily yellow, extremely empty, and fluorescently lit space that never ends, meant to confuse us and fill us with fear. The Backrooms utilizes the aesthetic of Liminal Spaces, which is a transitional area between two other locations, and makes for a great series to react to and theorize about, as Parsons continues to expand the story with new videos. The series has effectively made the rounds on YouTube, capturing the attention of popular YouTubers and sparking discussions about the lore behind the videos. Since I like diving into series like this and discovering why they succeed in terrifying us, I wanted to know more about the Backrooms and the psychology behind them. What is it about the Backrooms and Liminal Spaces that trigger fear in us? Sure, a large yellow office is not aesthetically pleasing, but not inherently threatening. It seems harmless enough at first glance. So why is it so unsettling? Let's talk a bit about the origin of the Backrooms. It didn't start with Parsons' video series. In fact, Backrooms started as a creepypasta, which are horror-themed internet legends, and originated on a 4chan forum. A user asked others to post disquieting images that just feel off, and this photo was posted. Another anonymous user then wrote a backstory to this image. From what I could find, this seemed to be the original text. If you're not careful, and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the Backrooms, where nothing but the stink of old, moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. This effectively described the image and created some lore behind it, explaining it as a sort of limbo, in-between zone outside of normal reality. They used the phrase no-clip to describe how one would end up in the Backrooms. No-clip is a term used by gamers to explain the phenomenon of their character glitching through a wall or outside the intended space of a game. Some players use this to their advantage to bypass obstacles or find secrets. But here, in the Backrooms, that no-clipping means it could happen anywhere, at any time, and there is no clear way back home. After that, the post gained popularity, and many people wrote their own stories, with their own lore, and explanation of the space shown in the picture, and even created memes. Since then, there have been fan-made videos, like the one by Parsons, and some video games too. Inspired by the now well-known internet legend, Parsons created The Backrooms Found Footage, with a blend of 3D digital rendering and analog-style camera work. He includes his own lore in the video series, and it is explained in subsequent videos that the Backrooms was first accessed in 1988, as the company Async conducted an experiment to create a portal to enter a sort of expansive pocket dimension. Officially, their finding of the Backrooms is a result of Project KV31, or the Async Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System. The project is also referred to as the door, the complex, and hallways, which accurately describe the space. They did this to solve the problem of all current and future storage and residential needs by providing an endless amount of room for the government to use. Even the Async employees have to use rope to not get lost inside the Backrooms when they go to explore the area. The experiment was achieved with magnetics and electromagnetism, but seemingly left the facility around it in shambles. The additional lore included in these videos help explain the existence of the Backrooms a bit, since the first no clipping we see happens after Async opens the portal. Also, Parsons includes unique monsters that are lurking in the hallways, adding more distress to this harrowing place than what was previously known. Now that we've covered a bit about the story behind the YouTube series, we can see that the original post of the Backrooms already had a bit of a cult following, no doubt helping in the success of these short films. But what drew us into these visuals and stories? What made the original post go viral in the first place? The initial photo and post, and even the first video the Backrooms found footage, focused on the idea of profound isolation and confusion, feeling lost in an unknown and uncomfortable location, an empty hallway that seemingly never ends. With the original 2019 post and the first video by Parsons, there was no explanation to where this place was or why it existed, which, in a way, can make it feel scarier. Without an explanation, there is no chance for escape, since in theory, the Backrooms can just go on with no foreseeable exits. Seemingly a glitch in the Matrix, but with no red pill to let you know the truth and take you back to reality. In found footage, we are placed in the perspective of someone stuck wandering these hallways for an unknown but surely long amount of time. The tension and anticipation builds to a distressing level because we are waiting for something awful to happen, like something to finally appear and attack the future victim, or for nothing to happen at all and for him to be here forever, to die starved and alone. The uncertainty and infinite hallways are the only constant. What might best explain why the Backrooms, whether it be the photo or the short film, is so popular is because it is the epitome of liminal spaces. An aesthetic that perfectly describes the Backrooms is that of liminal spaces and liminality. In fact, it is thought that the popularity of the original Backrooms post helped start the liminal space trend online. Recently, I've seen these types of places trending everywhere, like YouTube, Twitter, and even TikTok. Also, fun fact, the critically acclaimed show Severance on Apple TV Plus was also inspired by the Backrooms creepypasta. Anyway, liminal space is described, at least on the aesthetics wiki, as a location which is a transition between two other locations, or states of being. The word liminal is derived from the Latin word limens, which means threshold. A transitional area, let's say something like an airport, is supposed to be filled with people trying to get from one place to another. When this place is empty, it's unnerving and feels off to us. If you are stuck in a liminal space, there is also a feeling of being lost, since you never reach your destination. You are stuck in the in-between, especially made clear in the Backrooms, as the victim from the first video never finds his way out, and only his camera was able to make the journey back to his normal reality. The most common of these liminal spaces, shown online, tend to be hallways. A simple hallway can easily be made creepy with the absence of light and people. But you are alone, and your destination and anything that might be waiting for you is unknown, covered in darkness and shrouded in mystery. These abandoned locations remind us of horror movies, since cinema uses dark, empty rooms and hallways to build tension, have us question our surroundings, and have our imaginations run wild with what could happen. Possibly the most famous movie that heavily utilizes liminal spaces is The Shining. The Overlook Hotel is a large, expansive building that is typically teeming with visitors and employees, but in the winter, it's completely barren, aside from whoever is unfortunate enough to be house-sitting, like the Torrance family. Visuals of long, narrow hallways, lined with repetitive patterns, are very common in the film. The whole building is uncanny. We know the Overlook Hotel is haunted, of course, so this place acts as a sort of limbo region, a place where spirits are stuck in between the land of the living and the afterlife. Just like the Backrooms, the hotel is a maze meant to confuse and trap those unlucky enough to step foot there. Psychologically, why do the Backrooms and these liminal spaces terrify us? Well, the idea of staying in a location that is not your destination, a place that is only supposed to exist in between, is unsettling and uncomfortable. We are not meant to remain here, and that messes with our minds. When someone is stuck in a transitional space, the original purpose of it has changed. We are disoriented. The Backrooms are basically the ultimate liminal space, since it never ends. You can never get to your final destination, so you are stuck in an intense state of uncertainty. This uncertainty can cause stress and anxiety, especially when these areas can be perceived as dangerous, like the backrooms. Also, as humans, we like putting things into categories, so it's easier for us to understand. But liminal spaces are in this confusing gray area. There's a phrase that I like from psychomechanics.com, in which they explain the unreality of liminal spaces causes anxiety. Unreality is a perfect word for it. These uninhabited gateways don't feel real to us, since they are supposed to be brimming with life, full of movement. Instead, they are still and abandoned, and this makes them feel otherworldly. The Backrooms is also highly effective, since its visual design highlights the liminality and makes the most freakish of liminal spaces. Its impossible scale is overwhelming. The lack of people, and even furniture, increases the unlikeliness of this space supposedly existing. The strange, off-putting yellow tint in the majority of these rooms and hallways gives off a dirty feeling, almost like this place has been around forever and the age has discolored the wallpaper. It's definitely not a calming color, and not one I'd want to be surrounded by until my untimely demise. The fluorescent lighting shows everything, but still provides no sense of comfort. In fact, the lighting is bright, instead of the traditional darkness used in horror films. But it almost increases the uneasiness, since it emphasizes how empty this area really is, and how it seems to go on forever. As someone wanders the backrooms, the road to escape becomes more and more hopeless as the panic sets in. You feel like you shouldn't be there, and yet it won't let you leave. The main feeling you get from the backrooms, whether it be the photo, the lore, short films, or the video games, is the fear of the unknown. H.P. Lovecraft said it best. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. It is a deeply powerful force. The unknown allows our mind to wander, and our imaginations run wild to fill in the gaps. The liminal space is the threshold between the known and the unknown, in between one point of time and space and another. The possibilities of what's to come are endless, and the longer we stay in a liminal space like the backrooms, the more we think about what could be waiting for us just around the corner. The Backrooms found footage hooked us in immediately. After looking into this type of horror, it made me aware of a fear I never really thought about before. It is amazing that a simple post of a yellow, uncanny, unsightly room on a forum in 2019 was able to highlight such a specific fear and inspire people to create extensive stories, films, and video games about it. Liminal spaces are something we can all relate to, since they exist everywhere, usually in large buildings like airports and hospitals, but they also exist in some of our homes. We experience them every day, whether we like it or not, and the Backrooms plays on this anxiety-inducing phenomenon by creating the quintessential liminal space. The excellent visual and structural design by Parsons in his video tap into the fear of the unknown and makes us unsteady the entire way through, with the inclusion of some backstory in his other videos to help explain the existence of the Backrooms. We are given more interesting and frightening information to further expand the universe and have the fans excited for future installments. The idea of glitching out into another reality that you were never meant to be in can be terrifying. And yet, there is something that keeps us coming back for more.